Congratulations, sports fans. You've got the winning wager. I'm Stan the Man with the Winning Way plan to make you money on Saturday, April 26, 2025. We're hitting at a 58% clip this week, so let's continue the winning way with the winning wager. All right, let's take a look at Major League Baseball. 4 games that we like the totals for, and 4 others we like the sides for. And 2 of these games were rained out yesterday, so they're going to be games 1 of a respective doubleheader with these teams. All right, at 1:10 Eastern Time, the Red Sox and the Guardians, we like them to go over 7.5 total runs. And at 1:10 Eastern Time, the Baltimore Orioles at the Detroit Tigers, let's go over 8.5 runs there. At 1:05 Eastern Time, the Blue Jays and the New York Yankees, we like that game to go over 8.5. And one more game that we really like to go over, it's the Tampa Bay Rays at the San Diego Padres with an 8:40 Eastern Time start. We like that going over 7 runs. All right, 4 games we like the sides for. We mentioned the Yankees and the Blue Jays. The Yankees are a minus 190 at home against the Blue Jays. We like the Yankees. I know that's a lot of juice to lay, but we like the Yankees there. And at 4:05 Eastern Time, a game being televised nationally by Fox, the Giants minus 120 at home against the Texas Rangers. We like the Giants minus the 120 there. All right, at 8:10 Eastern Time, the Diamondbacks playing host to the Atlanta Braves. We like the Diamondbacks minus 120 on the money line. And at 8:40 Eastern Time, the San Diego Padres playing host to the Tampa Bay Rays. No way the Rays are going to beat the Padres 2 games in a row. So let's take the Padres minus 150 on the money line in that game. All right, let's turn our attention to the NBA. Now, there's 3 games that I really like here. Cleveland minus 5.5 against the Miami Heat at Miami. Cleveland's got a 2-0 lead in that series. I believe that they're going to extend that to 3, and I believe they're going to win by more than 5.5 here. All right, OKC has a chance to sweep the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis today without Ja Morant. Memphis will be without star player Ja Morant, and OKC is favored by 14.5. I know that's a lot of points. I think OKC covers that 14.5, but we'll talk a little bit more about this here in a moment. Also, one other game I like, I've kind of thought about this, but I'm starting to get the feel now for Golden State, or that Golden State game against Houston, which is going to be 8:30 Eastern Time on ABC. Let's go with Golden State minus the 3.5 in that game. Now, if any of that makes you nervous, here's something we can do. It didn't work out so well yesterday, but it has earlier in the week for us. I have no problems with teaser parlays. Some people do, I don't. So let's take a look at this. We can take Cleveland from minus 5.5 to plus 2.5, and we can take OKC from minus 14.5 to minus 6.5, and Golden State from minus 3.5 to plus 4.5. I think that feels really good. So let's do this. Let's do that 3-item teaser there. I would not encourage anybody to do what I call the double jeopardy. I don't like doing the double jeopardy. If you want to take one of these teams, minus the original point spread, do that. But if you don't like the original point spreads, then go ahead and put them in a 3-item teaser. One or the other. I wouldn't try both unless you just want to play your luck at that. But at any rate, that's it for the NBA. Now in the NHL, we're pretty hot with the NHL right now. Don't want to toot my own horn here, but let's see if we can continue that streak. Let's do this in the NHL. The Lightning and the Panthers today, and that's going to be an early game. I believe that's at 1 Eastern Time. I think that's going to be a war on ice. I really do. I think it's going to be a real struggle, but I like Florida to win that game. They're minus 135 on the money line. And if I had to say, I would say that game is going to be a low-scoring game. The over-under in some books is 5.5, and some books at 6. If you can get it at 6, obviously I'd feel a little more comfortable about that, just because of the sake of an empty net goal late. But I really like Florida to win that game and go up 3-0 in that series. and I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game. All right, at 7 Eastern time, the Toronto Maple Leafs playing at the Ottawa Senators. The Senators are slightly favored here at minus 115 on the money line, and I understand that. That's a tough one to go with, but I want to tell you the last two games in this series have both been uh, gone into overtime, low scoring overtime games. So let's do this. Let's take the Ottawa Senators to avoid being swept tonight in Ottawa. I don't think they're going to want to be swept in front of their home crowd. So I like that game. I also like it going under 5.5 goals. And at 9:30 Eastern time, the Colorado Avalanche playing host to the Dallas Stars. This is a game that a lot of people are thinking the Avalanche will win. I happen to agree with that. I think the Avalanche will tie the series up at 2 apiece. The two Dallas Stars win have come in each of the last two games. Both went into overtime. And this game might go into overtime, but I think Colorado's going to show up and play well. Now, I know the Stars have won what seems like forever in playoff games in Colorado. I think that comes to an end tonight. I think it probably be a close game, perhaps go into overtime again. But I like Colorado. I know minus 175 is a lot of juice to lay. Some people are suggesting maybe to go with a minus 115 Colorado to win in regulation. Maybe it'll go into overtime, maybe it won't. I wouldn't be surprised if it did go into overtime. That's why I'd rather lay the extra juice on the minus 175 with Colorado to win. Now the over/under 6.5. Why? Because these teams traditionally typically do play high-scoring games. I'm not sure that this is going to be such a high-scoring affair, but I have no real feel on whether or not this thing goes over or under. So let's just stay away from that and play Colorado minus the 175. If you don't want to lay that kind of juice and you want to parlay that with the Panthers to win against Tampa Bay or one of these other picks, that's fine. But I do think Colorado does beat the Dallas Stars tonight. Well, all right, everybody, let's go out and make some money today and have a good time with this. All right, I'm Stan the Man for the Winning Wager. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.